One of the most confusing situations you can be in is when a woman might actually like you, but nothing is directly clear. Because if she's not interested, you feel it quickly. There's distance, less effort, less presence. But when she is interested and she's waiting for you to make a move, it doesn't show up clearly. It shows up in behavior that feels deniable, too normal to question, too consistent to ignore. So you start doing something without realizing it. You start rethinking small moments, overanalyzing simple interactions, trying to decide if you're imagining things or missing something obvious. And the frustrating part is, both answers feel correct depending on the moment. But here's what usually happens. People don't miss interest because there are no signs. They miss it because nothing feels like a definite sign, just patterns. So let's slow it down and break down the patterns that usually show up when she's not just being nice, but waiting for you to act. Number 1, she reopens conversations that already ended, not because she has something important, but because she wants to stay connected. The conversation finishes naturally, nothing is unresolved, and still, later in the day, she sends something, a message, a thought, a joke, a reason that didn't need to exist, and that's where it starts to show. Because people don't repeatedly reopen conversations with someone they feel nothing toward. They do it when silence feels unnecessary. Number 2, she remembers details you didn't think mattered. Small things, almost throwaway information, things you barely remember saying yourself, but she does, and she brings them back later like they mattered. Not forced, not obvious, just natural recall. And that's where attention stops being casual, because memory is selective, and people select what matters to them. Number 3, her energy shifts slightly the moment you walk in. This one's harder to fake because it's not what she says, it's the half second before she says anything. A small adjustment in posture, a shift in tone that wasn't there with anyone else in the room, something that resets the moment you appear. And if you've ever noticed it and brushed it off as nothing, that's usually because it felt too small to mean anything. But people don't recalibrate themselves around someone they feel neutral about. The body reacts before the mind decides to act. Number 4, she gets deeper than surface conversation. She doesn't just ask what you're doing. She asks how you think, what you're working toward, what actually matters to you. And she stays in those conversations longer than necessary, not rushing away, not changing topic quickly, because curiosity is one of the earliest forms of emotional investment. People don't study someone they're indifferent to. Number 5, people around her already know your name. You meet her friends and something feels slightly off. Not awkward, just familiar. They already recognize you. They've heard about you before, in passing, in conversation, more than once. And that usually means one thing. You've already been present in her world, even when you weren't there. Because people talk about what's mentally active, not what's irrelevant. Number 6, she hesitates right before letting a moment close. This is the quietest sign of all. There's a natural point where things could just end. The conversation could wrap up. The interaction could finish. And for a second, you can almost feel her deciding. A pause, a half-started sentence, an extra moment before she turns to leave. It's small enough to miss completely, but hesitation isn't nothing. People don't hesitate over things they're ready to walk away from. They hesitate over things they're not finished with yet. Number 7, she removes friction for you to make a move. This is where everything becomes clear. She keeps conversations open. She responds in a way that continues things instead of ending them. She stays warm. She stays reachable. She gives you space to step forward without pressure, again and again and again. And eventually you notice something. A woman who isn't interested creates distance automatically, but a woman who is interested and waiting creates opportunity instead. Not once, not accidentally, repeatedly. And at that point, the question is no longer whether she's showing signs, it's whether you're willing to act on what's already been in front of you. And here's what most people realize too late. When you're inside it, nothing feels obvious. It feels uncertain. But when you step back, you stop seeing moments. You see patterns. And patterns rarely lie. So the real question isn't whether she's waiting. It's whether you've been delaying what she's already made possible. Because sometimes she's not waiting to show you more signs. She's waiting to see if you'll respond to the ones already there.